Hello and welcome back, internet friends. I got a surprise today. It was a pleasant surprise. I was sitting at the dinner table, eating lunch, and my phone buzzed. It was an email from Steam. Warhammer 40k Shootas Blood and Teef has released. Really? No frickin' way. Shootas Blood and Teef is exactly what the Warhammer 40k universe needs right now. Cadia has fallen in the lore, and we're all anxiously waiting to see if Fat Shark does a good job on Darktide. So the time for Orky comic relief is definitely now. If you're in your 40s like me and grew up playing Metal Slug, you'll know the sheer joy of the absurdist 2D platformer genre. And if you ever looked at Metal Slug and thought, man, I wish the main character was an orc, to hell with my viewer retention. Shut this video off now, buy the game, because that is the very least of what Shootas Blood and Teef has to offer. Like DACA Squadron before it, Shootas Blood and Teef does an amazing job of telling a story through the lens of orc society. I use the word society lightly. When you start a game like Space Marine, you're greeted with grim narration by what sounds like an aging British man and or a wall of text. The opening cutscene of... I'm just going to say SBT from now on. The opening cutscene of SBT looks like a cartoon drawn in crayon. It's so silly that I initially worried this was going to be a game that's more of a mockery of the Green Fungal Boys, but that fear was dashed. More on that in a bit. The story is pretty standard. The humans have an industrial world that has fuel for starships and vehicles, and the orcs want it, so a WOG forms, they attack the planet. Your custom character is betrayed and you land on the planet and proceed to go left to right, shooting all that moves. I don't want to spoil too much more, so let's pivot and talk about the custom characters. When you start a game of SBT, after selecting one of 3 difficulties, you choose your class, and the choices are Flash Git, Weird Boy, Beast Snagaboy, and Storm Boy. They play very similar, but there are enough differences that you'll probably find a favorite. The Flash Git has a chance of not consuming ammo when he shoots, and his grenade is more of a Molotov cocktail. The Weird Boy has a psychic stun applied to his melee attacks, and he uses shock grenades. The Beast Snagaboy has a thrown spear instead of a melee attack, and his grenade is a bomb squig that runs at the target before detonating itself. Personally, I ended up choosing the Storm Boy because I liked how he had a further dash than the other orcs, and a cluster bomb is handy for clearing ads. You can also select your clan, which changes your coat color and a standard that you carry on your back. And finally, last but not least, you get to choose what hat to wear from the ones you've bought through your playthroughs. Once you gain control of your orc boy, you'll realize that there's also a little bit of twin-stick shooter in the game. Your aiming, perhaps ironically for an orc, is more precise than the 4 to 8 directions we've become used to from Contras and the like. The gameplay is relatively simple if incredibly fun. As you progress, you'll get more gun types. I say types because there are a few slots you can toggle through. I was a Space Marine tabletop player, so I don't really know all of the names and have context for their Imperial counterparts, but it's more or less pistol, machine gun, shotgun, heavy weapon, etc. Amongst these categories, you can purchase guns at mech shops along the way through levels. These can drastically change how you play. For instance, I bought what was essentially a minigun, and by God did that thing kick. So during a boss fight against a tank, I tried to just get a good angle and unleash a wall of lead, where someone, if they had more of a bolt gun, might be using their mobility to their advantage, that sort of thing. I see a lot of potential here for tinkering with builds, especially when you play online with friends. SBT is a ton of fun and surprisingly deep, but it also looks damn nice. There's an art style that at times reminds me of South Park, especially for the humans, but it's decidedly orky and I love it. Each location looks unique, and it's pretty much exactly what I imagine an animated version of like Armageddon would look like. One of the few criticisms I have actually shows up here. There are times where I wasn't really sure where I was meant to go. The levels can get visually busy or cluttered, and it's tough to tell what is a background art and what's a platform. This never lasted for long, and I just chalked it up to my eyes being tired from the hectic firefight that preceded, but there are a few times this happened, so I thought I'd bring it up. Another strong point, and the reason I said earlier that this game definitely respects the source material, is the soundtrack. Oh my god, admittedly I love metal, but the way it gets your green blood pumping, it can't be understated. Sometimes it will cut off mid-track when you're headed to a new area, and I find that kind of jarring, but that's a minor complaint. There's a boss battle early where you fight while orcs jam on crude guitars, and oh man, I got fired up. All in all, SBD is exactly what I wanted it to be, and a little bit more. October is already packed with a lot of great games coming out, and I think a lot of them will be gathering dust till I'm done shooting up to stupid Umis and unlocking all the DACA. Until next time, I've been Septimus of the Grim Alliance, and you have been an amazing audience. I thank you.